Hi, welcome to my channel Programming Knowledge by Jagadish. Now in this video, we are going to discuss about data structures stack implementation. In the previous, we discussed about what actually stack and what are the operations that we can perform on the stack. Now here, we are going to discuss about the way how we are going to implement the stack operations. In this video, we are discussing about stack implementation. The stack implementation can be done in two ways. One is using array and one more is using linked list. In this video, particularly, we are going to discuss about how to implement a stack using arrays. First of all, we must know in which way we are implementing a stack using array. First of all, before going to perform any operation on stack, make sure that first of all, the top value is initialized to -1, which indicates stack is empty. As we know that we are implementing stack using arrays. So when we just go to implement stack based on the array, initialize the top value is equals to -1. And we know that top of the stack always indicates the value which we are going to insert recently. And this is nothing but an integer value. And whenever we are performing any operation like push operation or pop operation, then automatically the value of top will be increments or decrements accordingly. So if you are inserting a value, first increment the pop value by 1. When you are deleting a value, first delete and then decrement the value of a top by 1. And this particular top value always track the current top of the stack. Here, the main advantage of implementing or the main useful of implementing stack as arrays is nothing much when you have a fixed amount of data to be used. If you have a fixed amount of data to be used, then it is easy, then it is useful to implement a stack using arrays. So now when we just go to specify implement a stack using arrays, then programmatically we must know what are the statements that are required. Here in this one, we first discuss about a push function. As we already know, push is the operation which is used to insert a value into a stack. Now we just go to specify how to implement a stack using array, that too in order to insert a value into a stack. To insert a value into a stack, we must use push function. Here in this, first declare one variable like ELE. Before inserting a value into a stack, you must check a condition. You must check a condition top is equals to size -1. If size of the stack in array based, if the size of the stack is 10, so 10 minus 1, that indicates 0. As we know that array index starts from 0 onwards, 0 to 9. So if our top value is equals to 9 and size -1 is also equals to 9, which indicates stack is full or stack is overflow. That means we are unable to insert a value into a stack. Take the next case. For example, assume that now this condition becomes false. Whenever this condition becomes false, it executes else part. Now, what is there in the else part means, in the else part, we must specify simply a printf statement like enter the element to push for readable purpose. Now, through scanf, we will provide some value as the inputs, and that value is stored in a variable ELE which we declare earlier. So whatever the value, if you insert a value, like if you provide a value input as 25, that 25 will be stored in ELE. If you provide a value 100, that will be stored in ELE. If you provide a value 76, that will be stored in ELE. Simply, whatever the value that you provide as the inputs, then that value will be stored in the variable ELE. After providing the value as the inputs, then we go to increment a top value by 1. As we already know that according to the stack push operation, before placing a value into a stack, make sure that first increment the top value by 1. If top value is 1, increment by 1, the result is 2. If the top value is 4, increment the top value by 1, the result is 5. If the top value is 8, increment the top value by 1, the result is 9. So likewise, when you are inserting a value, first increment a top value by 1. After incrementing a top value by 1, wherever the top is pointed in a stack, whatever the location the top is pointed in a stack, in that location, we just go to insert a value which is stored in ELE. This is the procedure how to insert a value into a stack by using of push function. Similarly, now we go to discuss about the deletion of a value using a function named as pop. Now here we are going to perform one more operation, that is nothing but pop operation, which is meant to delete a value from stack. To delete a value from stack, we are using a pop function. How we are going to implement a pop function means first define a pop function like this. Now, well, in the beginning, you check whether top value is equal to -1 or not by using of if statement. If top value is equal to -1, if it becomes true, that indicates this statement will execute, which indicates stack is empty. So make sure that before going to perform deletion operation, the stack must and should contains the values. If a stack contains values, then only you are able to delete a value from the stack. If stack doesn't contains any values, you are unable to delete a value. So before deletion, first check whether top is equal to -1 or not. If it satisfies, if it returns true, then that indicates there are no values. Simply display stack is empty. Take the next case. Now this condition becomes false. When the condition becomes false, it executes else part. When it executes else part, then simply it displays a statement like pop element is %d. Whatever the element that is stored at the top of a stack, that element will be deleted. For example, if the top value is pointing in a stack is a 10, 10 will be deleted. If top value is pointed to a value 25, 25 will be deleted. If the top value is pointed to a value 56, 56 will be deleted. So whatever the value that is pointed by top in the stack, that value will be deleted. After deleting, simply decrement the top value by 1 by using a statement top minus minus. When we specify top minus minus, that indicates top value will be decremented by 1. Earlier, if top is 5, after executing top minus minus, top will be 4. If top is a 10, after executing top minus minus, top will be 9. Likewise, we just go to perform the deletion operation. This is what actually the implementation of deletion operation. Then we go to discuss about one more function named as traversal. There is a one more function which is used to display all the values in the stack. In order to display all the values in the stack, here we are using a function named as display function. To display all the values in the stack, make sure that first of all, there must be a values. If values are there in the stack, then only you are able to display the values in the stack. So now we just go to check whether stack contains values or not. For that, here we are using a condition top is equals to -1. If top is equal to -1, if this condition becomes true, when this condition becomes true, that indicates stack is empty. If this condition becomes false, then it displays the values that are there in the stack. For example, assume now the condition becomes true for the first case, then it simply displays stack is empty whenever top value is equals to -1. Take the next case. If the condition becomes false, when the condition becomes false, it executes the next one, that is nothing but this one. It skips this block and executes this one, that is nothing but printf. The elements in the stack are simply display this statement as the output, then execute this particular for loop, which consists of 3 sections. I is equal to top, I greater than or is equal to 0, I minus minus, which indicates from topmost element to 0th element. From topmost element to 0th element, it displays the values that are there in the stack. Initially, first top value is assigned to I and check whether I value is greater than or is equal to 0. For example, top value is 5. Assume that. Now, top value 5 is assigned to I. Now, I value is 5. When I value is 5, then check condition whether 5 is greater than or is equal to 0 or not. If this becomes true, it simply displays stack of I, stack of 5. Whatever the value that is stored at a stack of 5, that value will be displayed by using printf statement. After displaying, after printing, the I value will be decremented by 1. Now, 5 value is decremented to 4. Again, check the condition whether 4 is greater than or is equal to 0 or not. If 4 is equal to greater than or is equal to 0, then the condition becomes true. When condition becomes true, again it displays stack of 8, stack of 4. The value that is there in stack of 4 will be displayed. After that, again I value will be decremented by 1 and again the result is nothing but 3. Now again check I greater than or equal to 0, 3 greater than or equal to 0. This process repeats until the condition becomes false. Whenever this condition becomes false, for example, whenever I is equal to or I reaches to -1, then automatically condition becomes false. This statement will not execute. So likewise, we just go to display all the values in the stack. This is what actually the functionality of displaying the values in the stack. Thank you.